Hey, it's Chloe. Welcome to Chloe and the Culture, where we analyze pop culture content from a Christian perspective. Today, we're going to be diving into a very important, very philosophical debate that haunts my Twitter feed about once a month or so. Is anime demonic? All the way back in October 2022, conservative commentator Matt Walsh of the Daily Wire made a throwaway comment about anime feeling demonic on his podcast. This comment has sparked controversy ever since. Now, this particular topic has always fascinated me because anime spiked in popularity in my generation around my middle to high school years, and I never understood why until very recently. Anime has somehow simultaneously been a huge polarizing issue among conservative Christians, while at the same time being underanalyzed and ignored. Journalists don't really study anime because, well, that sounds really stupid. So I took the immense burden upon myself to research and analyze some of the most popular shows among my generation and determine what makes Japanese animation so enticing. As far as I can tell, there are three main perspectives when it comes to this topic, which I'm going to label as the Normie view, the Walshian view, and the Weebian view. So listen up as I outline these three hyperbolic hypothetical opinions. Number 1, the Normie view. Normal people who do not think about this topic because they're too busy being employed to care. This is just your average person, they don't know much about it, they're not thinking about it. Number 2, the Walshian view, named after Matt Walsh because I thought that it would be funny if I did that. People in this camp regard anime as a whole as being demonic and ungodly. This perspective is slightly similar to the satanic panic regarding Disney in the 80s and 90s, but with more legitimate reasons for their distrust. And finally, number 3, the Weebian view, named after weebs, which, according to Google's AI overview, is, quote, a slang term for non-Japanese people who are excessively obsessed with Japanese culture, typically anime, manga, and gaming, often acting as though it is superior to their own. Am I going to fact check that that's an accurate definition? Nope. These people are full hardcore anime fans who, like most toxic fandoms, don't know how to watch media using critical thinking. In this video, I'm going to analyze these three perspectives and give my verdict on which one is correct. Keep in mind, I'm going to be painting in very broad brushstrokes for the sake of simplicity and brevity. With that, let's get into it. Number 1, the Normie view. Now, I don't know if anyone else has had this experience before, but for me it has come up surprisingly often. In conversation with older generations, say extended family or my parents' acquaintances or random southern ladies in the checkout line, there seems to be a consensus that anime is just a cute cartoon for kids. I've heard my own grandmother describe it that way verbatim. In the West, we have this fascinating subconscious phenomena where we have the presupposed belief that if a piece of media is animated, it is obviously made for children. A century of Disney movies, Looney Tunes, and Nickelodeon shows have solidified this idea. So many parents see the presentation of anime as a 2D television shows with lots of colorful designs and big pretty eyes and flashy graphics and write it off as content for children. However, in Japan, anime is considered a medium, not a genre. Yes, you have shows like Pokemon geared towards young children, but you also have shows that are explicitly made for adults. And because these shows are the product of a post-pagan culture, most of them are going to depict graphic and gratuitous violence, as well as sexual and pornographic content. Hayao Miyazaki, founder of Studio Ghibli, which for those who don't know is basically Japanese Disney and has produced some genuinely amazing movies, has commented on how his industry has been hijacked by sexual degenerates and pedophiles who are more concerned with adding sexual fan service, especially at the expense of young girls, than they are with storytelling. But American parents don't know this because animation is for kids, which creates a problem for my generation where many of us were advertised at far too young an age, seemingly kid-friendly entertainment, and were instead exposed to violent and sexualized content. I think this specific issue may have been a huge factor in our generation's mental health epidemic. I have no actual scientific proof for this, but I do think someone more qualified than me should definitely run some studies on this topic. Hi, Future Chloe here. After a 5-minute Google search, I found this scientific article from the National Library of Medicine, which for some reason studied Russians who watched anime in childhood and their mental health conditions afterwards. It found that young adults who were exposed to anime before age 12 were associated with increased suicidal risk factors. Now, is this scary statistic 100% accurate? I have no idea, but it is worth noting, probably. Anyway, to summarize, the normie view of anime is to dismiss it as children's content and to not look into it further. After all, content for children is stupid and shouldn't be taken seriously, right? Obviously, the normie view is ignorant of what's going on, so I think we can safely dismiss it. Number 2, the Walshian view. As I mentioned earlier, this whole debate was really popularized with Matt Walsh's comments that anime, quote, has a demonic vibe. Those who are paying attention to the phenomena I explained earlier recognize that, because of the violent and sexual nature of anime, these shows are obviously not made for children. However, some go a step further, labeling all anime as a product of Satan himself, and declaring it unworthy of Christian consumption. Now, I am not claiming that anyone in particular has said this in a completely serious and non-sarcastic manner. I'm actually outlining a position that I personally held for a very long time. You see, when that episode from the Matt Walsh Show first aired in 2022, I wholeheartedly agreed with it. I was one of many of Gen Z who, during the COVID lockdowns, had their friends start getting into weird corners of the internet. Naturally, I thought this was just the cool thing to do. And because of my behavior as a dumb middle schooler, I was exposed to some very dark anime-adjacent content. Coming out of that, I was very hesitant to even consider that anything anime-related could have any redeeming qualities. That is, until I grew up and gave it a second chance. And what I found surprised me. You see, my friend, I was operating under the American assumption outlined earlier that anything animated is okay for children. Obviously, I knew at the time there were adult animated shows, but those were mostly just comedies. Only more recently has the West tried their hands at producing animated narrative-driven content for adult audiences. And we aren't very good at it, but that's a topic for another video. Researching the Japanese attitude towards animation and speaking to friends who grew up in this culture has led me to realize that anime isn't exactly a genre, it's a medium. There's a whole separate vocabulary of which shows are targeted towards which age ranges that I will not go into here, but it is pretty easy to Google. So when I, as a child, was exposed to more adult themes via anime, I reacted as if the entire genre was inappropriate for human consumption. But this line of logic would be akin to me being exposed to an MA-rated movie and then declaring all live-action movies to be morally degenerate. That just doesn't make sense. And while there is legitimate widespread perversion within the medium of anime, there are also shows which cover heavier topics, not at all suitable for young children, but that I have enjoyed because they handle these issues well and maturely. Because of this, I don't think the satanic panic is the appropriate attitude to take regarding anime. So that leads us with one final perspective. Number 3, the Weebian view. Friends, I think everyone at this point agrees that mainstream Hollywood has absolutely failed us. There's been one good major Hollywood film made this year so far? And as incredible as Project Hail Mary was, it wasn't even really an original movie. It was based off the book. So, as the weebs of the internet argue, we need to turn to higher quality storytelling for our entertainment. And who's producing the best stories today? Japanese animation studios. Hollywood is constantly pushing obnoxious girl boss feminist content, which hates men and worships women. On the other hand, anime promotes strong masculinity and female characters who are actually likable. Hollywood creates antagonists who are misunderstood and morally ambiguous, while anime isn't afraid to write villains who are genuinely evil and does not hesitate to kill them off. Hollywood would rather put their budget into hiring obnoxious celebrities as voice actors instead of focusing on quality visuals and voice acting. Anime, on the other hand, hires actually talented voice actors and rigorously pursues true visual beauty in their animation. Oh, and sometimes they don't pay their animators, but we'll ignore that part for now. When framed like this, Japanese animation sounds much more attractive than any garbage Hollywood is putting out right now. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it kind of is. When I went off to college, I did what most college students my age are doing and tried out a few new shows that high school me could not have conceived of ever watching. I wanted to study this topic from the source instead of going off of what other people told me about it or what my prejudices were in the past. And what I found truly fascinated me. These writers and studios seem to be trying to produce genuine beauty in their storytelling. You can immediately tell that these people are not just trying to cater to a consumerist standard of mediocrity. They're trying to create good stories. And I think this aim is admirable and worth acknowledging. And because these creators are pursuing excellence, these stories resonate with and inspire audiences, especially young men, to pursue their own excellence. I mean, just this year, there's been at least 2 instances of young men dressed in anime cosplay and defending the common good in public spaces. We've got Himmel the hero putting out a fire, and Yuji Itadori beating the crap out of the pedophile. All this to say, these stories are deeply resonating with the younger generations, so it stands to reason that they must be doing something right. I truly believe they are. It seems to me that the Japanese are utilizing an important aspect of storytelling that the West has, for the most part, forgotten. That is, the pursuit of excellence. Japan is not ashamed to have morally virtuous characters. They don't shy away from earnest emotion. They promote masculine men and feminine women. They condemn evil in antagonists and are not ashamed to kill them off. These are basic principles of good storytelling that the West has embraced for thousands of years. But we've abandoned these principles. And as long as we continue to abandon these principles, the younger generations will continue to outsource storytelling to other cultures who will respect them as an audience. However, I can't disregard the problems I have with many anime shows. There's almost universal sexualization and degradation of young women, as well as a leaning towards hyper-violent content that Western viewers should be aware of. I don't think the Weebian view is fully correct, as most people within this camp disregard reason when viewing media. Stories are so powerful. Whether they're coming from Hollywood or overseas, we must be on guard and stay discerning. Look up content warnings in advance to know whether content is okay for you or your children. While watching, always ask yourself, what is the philosophy behind this work? Is it true? How does it affect my imagination? How does it mold and shape what I love? Friends, I believe that the true perspective lies in a healthy middle ground between these extreme viewpoints. Anime has its many flaws, but it also has shows that have inspired virtue in generations. I believe that all cultures have access to some level of truth. This isn't some universalist philosophy. Scripture itself teaches that non-believers can still have common grace insights. Even Christless cultures can't help but promote truth in storytelling. Look at ancient Greek works like the Odyssey. Look at works by non-believers like Victor Hugo's Les Mis. Christians shouldn't hold the Greeks and the French to a different standard than they do the Japanese. The pursuit of beauty and goodness in media will almost always lead to the pursuit of truth. And as the West and the East continue to influence each other's morality through storytelling, I wouldn't be surprised to see a golden age of animation, where the pursuit of excellence and the love of virtue go hand in hand. My final conclusion is this. Anime in and of itself is not demonic, but it can drift towards vices that we in the West would quickly condemn. This is not my endorsement of all anime by any means. Instead, this is my invitation to you, the viewer. Be watchful, be discerning, but also maybe try something outside of your comfort zone. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you found any value in this video at all, consider maybe leaving a like, as it really helps out a small creator like me. Comment down below if there's anything I missed or if there's anything you'd like me to go into further detail on. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, consider subscribing, and hopefully I'll have another one up by now, so you can get a further taste of what I'd like to do on this channel. Until next time, thank you for tuning into Chloe and the Culture, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye!